My name is Sun Yitan. This is our group task. Our group task is mainly talk about employment relations within Coca-Cola. This is our team members. I am mainly responsible for the enterprise agreement, enterprise bargaining, and the Fair Work Commission. This is our table of contents. I will introduce the concept of an enterprise agreement and provide the background on our company's specific agreement. This will establish a foundation for the subsequent discussion on negotiation strategies. First, it is important to clarify the definition of an enterprise agreement. The Fair Work Commission describes an enterprise agreement as a legally binding instrument that specifies the wages and conditions of employment for a collective of staff within one or multiple organizations, according to Fair Work Commission 2024. Following its official approval, this agreement takes procedures over any existing awards and earlier agreements that would have otherwise covered the employees. According to Fair Work Commission 2024b, thereby establishing ambiguous terms of employment for both the workforce and the employer. Our company currently operates under the Coca-Cola Europe Pacific Partners Australia Pty Ltd Equipment Service Enterprise Agreement 2025. Fair Work Commission 2025. An application for the approval of this agreement was lodged with the Fair Work Commission. As stipulated by Section 185 of the Fair Work Act 2009, which is based on Fair Work Commission 2025. The next part is that. So, how is such an agreement made? The process is called enterprise bargaining. The process involves three main stages. The first is negotiation. The employer must issue a notice of employee representational rights to employees, informing them that they can appoint a representative such as a union or another person to participate in the negotiation, which based on Fair Work Commission 2024a. Following this, a bargaining committee composed of representatives from both the employer and employees negotiates terms such as pay, hours of work, and leave. Fair Work Commission 2024a. The second stage is the employee vote. Once the bargaining committee agrees on the terms, the proposed agreement must be put to a vote by all employees who will be covered by it. The law requires the employer to clearly explain the terms of the agreement to employees before the vote and to ensure it is approved by a majority of those who vote. The final stage is approved by the FWC. The Commission will conduct the crucial battle of overall test to ensure that employees are better off under the agreement than they would be under the relevant award. In our case, the primary representative for the employees is the Australian Manufacturing Works Union. According to the Fair Work Commission's decision document, Australia Manufacturing Workers Union was the official bargaining representative for our agreement. That concludes the background on the enterprise agreement and its process understanding the legal framework. And our company's current situation is the first step toward a successful negotiation. Next, my partners will present our specific recommendations. This is our references.
Firstly, I'll talk about the relevant history between the parties. Whilst there aren't any public records of long-running conflicts between Coca-Cola, Euro-Pacific Partners, and management in Victoria, there are still several incidents and regulatory changes that have happened. First is the Protected Action Ballot Order, where unions applied for a Protected Action Ballot Order in relation to certain employees of the Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific Party partners. This indicated union readiness to use industrial action if negotiations were unsatisfactory. Then there were disputes over performance management clauses in related enterprise agreement cases. This meant there were claims that an employer did not comply with the clause in relation to his dismissal. The last issue was the regulatory and legislative environment. This was where broader industrial relation reforms such as secure jobs and better pay legislations had increased the bargaining power of employees and unions. Now I'll talk about what elements of the current enterprise agreement should be prioritized or renegotiated. First one is wages and cost of living adjustments. This matters as because of inflation and rising costs of living, there is now more competition for skilled labour. The company should consider securing regular increases with inflation-linked components. Then there is penalty rates, overtime, and weekend and public holiday rates. Next up is flexibility and rostering, where the company should ensure robust flexibility clauses, such as a fair process for requesting or approving time off, and a safeguard work-life balance. Next up is job security, where the company should clarify definitions whether someone is working part-time, full-time or casual, as well as having protection against unfair casualization. And lastly, the health, safety and well-being provision should be prioritized or renegotiated. Post-COVID, there has been more attention on occupational health and mental health, so the company should review safety provisions, consider fatigue management, as well as ensuring there's enough training and mental health support. Next up are the recommendations for the next round of bargaining. This includes starting early to avoid expiry risks, as it gives time to build trust, consult and avoid destructive bargaining. The next one is develop a strong, transparent bargaining strategy, consider trade-offs, have a strong union or employee engagement, and using benchmarking and industry data, which involves collecting data on what other companies in similar industries and regions are offering. Lastly, how should the employer prepare? The employer should prepare by auditing the current agreement, reviewing how current clauses are being used, conducting a legal and regulatory review, making sure they understand all recent changes, model costing scenarios for wages or allowances, and mapping employee or union interests, which can be done through surveys or informal feedback, finding out what employees value the most.
Approaches are available. There are 3 different ones. A compliance approach, where the company simply meets the minimum standards of the Fair Work Act and the National Employment Standards. A collaborative approach, where managers, employees and unions work together to resolve issues as they arise. And an integrative approach, where consultation, training and employee development are embedded into the way the business operates every day. For Coca-Cola, Europathic partners, all 3 are possible, but the collaborative and integrative models best reflect the commitments bringing into the agreement, such as consultative committees and structured career development pathways, as stated by Cochin and Osterman. So which approach do I recommend and why? I recommend the integrative approach. Compliance and collaborations may solve short-term problems, but integration goes further. It makes employee development and participation a huge part of the company. And at CCEP, this means creating trust, boosting staff engagement, and strengthening operational performance. Importantly, it aligns directly with the company's stated values of continuous improvement and learning. Research shows that when employees feel valued and supported, they are more committed and productive, which in turn drives better outcomes for the organisation, as said by Purcell and Hutchinson in 2007. So how can this strategy be applied in practice? Coca-Cola Euro-Pacific partners can bring this integrative strategy to life in 3 different ways. First, through consultative committees, which meet regularly, ensuring employees and unions help shape operational improvements. Second, by investing in learning and development, including external study, support, and the career matrix that sets out pathways for technicians. And third, by fostering strong employee voice mechanisms, encouraging open communication and giving staff confidence to raise issues directly or through their representatives. When these are applied genuinely, not just a tick box exercise, they deliver lasting cultural and performance benefits, as says by Marchington and Wilkinson 2012. So what should be done if parties disagree? The agreement already provides a clear dispute resolution process. Disputes should be first addressed at the workplace level through open dialogue. In unresolved, the issue can escalate to more senior management, and if still not resolved, the matter can be referred to in Fair Work Commission for mediation, consultation, ultimately abbreviation. This structured pathway protects fairness, maintains relationships, and keeps operations moving well, ensuring legal compliance. Said by Forsyth 2012.